When I relocated to the Bay Area 25 years ago, I actually chose Antioch because I do highway construction, and I could see that with the number of houses being built and the condition of Highway 4, there'd be plenty of work out here. Now, I remember the first time I went to work, I couldn't believe it. I thought, what have I gotten into? The traffic is worse than I thought. It was literally a nightmare.
We needed to build the project while maintaining current traffic capacity. We had to add 50 new highway lane miles, construct over 22 bridges, construct 20 new signalized intersections, all while maintaining current capacity so that we didn't inconvenience the public any more than it already was.
I've never seen a project that had more public support, and I think part of the reason the public support was maintained so high was all the emphasis that CCTA and Caltrans put on maintaining existing capacity.
This was done over 5 interchanges from Loveridge Road all the way to Hillcrest Avenue.
Starting with Willow Pass, that helped that situation, and you get traffic moved further east and to some exit ramps, right? So that eliminated some traffic, so that helped. Then when Bailey Road was done, and that 2 miles, we had another exit at Bailey, that helped. And then so as the projects have moved east, every project has helped a little bit. And then I think CCTA should get some credit because one thing they did is, let's say they would stop a project at a certain point, as far as the permanent improvements, the concrete paving, they would put a temporary auxiliary lane, which is an exit lane that would go down to the next exit. So that at least, even though that was going to be throwaway work, it would still help because it might be 2 years until the next project could start due to funding and design.
That really helps with the local traffic,
And so every time we move further east, we've been able to get more cars off the freeway, and get them further east.
The highest priority was keep traffic flowing, especially on the highway. There were several operations that required us to close the freeway, but we had specific detours set up that allowed traffic around the work.
And those were done at night?
Those were done at night, and they're very restrictive hours, such as when we had to drop false work over the freeway. Environment. This did hold up some critical elements of the work, but it just was reflective of our commitment to make sure that we didn't impact the environment. We had several endangered or threatened species on the project that we had an interface with: the California red-legged frog, burrowing owls, Swenson hawks. We had elaborate no construction buffer zones for red-legged frogs. And if we did, on one of the projects, we had nesting owls right in the middle of the work. And that was pretty difficult. But we were committed to not harassing the owls or do anything that would harm them. And so we set up no construction buffer zones. We got with the team, we sat down with the engineers, we restaged the work. And we did it in such a way that it didn't actually delay the project.
I'm sure the public could see a lot of the effort that went in for the stormwater protection measures, so we wouldn't get erosion, dirt washing into the waterways and into these creeks, and the construction in and around these creeks all had to be done during the non-rainy seasons. At Loveridge Road, there was a very old pump station there, and it would malfunction. Sometimes the capacity would be too much, and it would flood there at Loveridge, and it would happen a lot and cause major backups. So one of the first projects that CCTA did before this last push of what they called the corridor projects was to reconstruct the Loveridge pump station. One thing I think was really unique about Highway 4, in my experience, civil engineering is a very male-dominated field, but the amount of women that really had key roles on this project. As I saw it, the management team was Susan Miller from CCTA, Lori Lau from Caltrans, and Trudy Presser was the lead design consultant. And then out in the field in construction, 2 of the resident engineers, Vicki Carney and Jolie Schneider, were resident engineers. In fact, Vicki was the RE on 2 of the large projects. So the majority of the projects over the last few years have been the resident engineers, which is the lead construction person on a project, were female. And in fact, the Loveridge pump station that I just mentioned, the resident engineer from that project was Anna Reese. Well, I can tell you, I've actually got a lot of pride. We've been involved in this project for a long time, and me personally, it's been a 25-year involvement.
It's a little bittersweet for me. I've been working on this project since 2011, and it's been a challenge, and a lot of the co-workers I worked with, I developed relationships with, a lot of the local residents, and and other people from various agencies I've worked with for over the years. And while I am proud that it's done and somewhat of a burden off of my shoulders that we're finishing up out there, it's still a little bittersweet. I enjoy the challenge.